I was just talking. We watched. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. So here's what I want to say. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody.
What's that?
Andy Cohen. We saw some Andy Cohen on CNN last night, and he and Anderson were drunk. Well, he was really drunk. Anderson, I don't think he was actually. I'm not even sure. But
He kind of was, I think.
Andy Cohen was free sheets to the wind, and we went after Eric Adams. Like, this he hated Eric Adams. Eric Adams responded to him an hour ago. My response to Andy, AA, another sloppy drunken rant. If anyone cares about him, they'll tell him to get help. New Yorkers aren't laughing with him. They're concerned about him. Public intoxication is a disease. He should seek help. He was safe in Times Square because we did our job. Again, seek help. Then he says, AAA, Andy's Alcohol Anonymous. So,
Yeah.
not great. But here's the thing.
But this is the bit that they do on CNN now, is they have gay men get drunk on New Year's Eve for everyone's entertainment for some reason.
But I would also say this. If you're going to say that public intoxication is a disease, then there was a lot of diseased New Yorkers last night and people around Times Square. Like, there's no... New Year's Eve celebration is a celebration for the drunk. And it would be unbearable to be sober around those people. You either got to stay inside, do your own thing, or if you're going to be out in that...
Is he a big sober guy, Eric Adams?
I don't know. He was a big nightlife guy. He's always clubbing. It was one of the great things about him is that, like, de Blasio is a huge stoner and a psycho and a goofball. And so he'd be high all the time and going to the gym during the day and be high all the time. And Eric Adams would be hanging out with the ladies at night at clubs, like in the VIP section. Which I like the idea of immediately abusing your position for power. So there you go. Another thing is this is, I was talking to Albie about, what did you want to say for the air? Something about us.
Something about you.
Something about me.
Specifically.
Let me tell you one thing about me. No more of this hanging out 3 hours by the ski slope with the kids. I will take them to skiing. And I'm good to see that now I have two sons who ski. One is 10 and one's 12. The 10-year-old really hasn't gone in a couple years, and he's good, and they're both good, and they work together well, and I was pleased to see that. They're both part of a ski team. And I liked watching them wipe out, which is fantastic. But a 53-year-old guy in 21-degree weather for 3 hours with a gale wind blowing down is no bueno. That is not happening. And I'm
surprised you stayed with them, actually.
I was surprised too, but it was just kind of fun. I thought right when I thought I'd be going in, because my hands were freezing, it got fun again. And just spot them up there. The only problem is that when they're way up at the top of the ski slope, it's hard to tell who they are. Because all you can see from that far away is just silhouettes. So I'm looking for one tall and one a little shorter, kind of herringboning it down. And so I have like 10 minutes of footage of other people's kids.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is weird. So I've deleted it, but if I should take a heart attack and die soon, just know, members of society, that if I have a lot of footage of your child, it's not on purpose.
Did they see other kids they knew there?
No, nobody.
Okay.
It was a really slow day. This is in Bradford, which is Greek.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be busy.
I know, it was not. It was none of the external parking was necessary. Bradford, which is Greek for the only ski slope without a ski lodge with beers. God forbid I was in Wisconsin at ski lodge enjoying a Bloody Mary. But now they have internet, so like I'm not completely shut off, which was good. But so there you go. Good, solid MILF count too, Alice. You'd be very pleased.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I was pleased. Oh, that's right. That's the whole point. It's like a cleaved.
Oh, right.
By a woman today.
Is that an actual word, or is that just a word
That's
you made
a Tom
up?
Shattuck word.
Okay.
To get cleaved is to get checked out by a woman. And so obviously no like real woman's going to check me out and have the audit
baby.
but there's a type who likes this type.
Me?
And I think that I'm burly and it's the ski slope world, I think, invites more women who are like that a little bit.
Oh.
And so
you look warm for the winter or something?
There was a woman there with her 2 kids, and I was there with my 2 boys. I haven't had a wedding ring in a decade. And so I think that she was mildly like the insinuation is that when she sees me, it's like I'm out chopping wood and like there's a Ford F-150 there, and if I have to go kill
I have a Subaru so I can go camping.
If I have to, right, all the lies I told you, but even more so, they assumed that I could kill a wolf.
Yeah, now you have a beard. It fits the
totally.
Pretend
totally.
Now.
It is a complete Hollywood facade, obviously. But there you go. So I liked that. So, by the way, if you are a woman and you do see me out and you do find me attractive at all, or are do gestures like that, it's very good for me to experience that.
Good, I'm happy that
because now I can't. The day's over of just having a kid on my shoulders and having pretty women look at the baby on my shoulders and me stealing that look as if it's looking at me. Our 2-year-old is too big now. He's a big dude, you know? But that was living. I should write a book on parenthood because that was living. Walking through the Copley Mall with our daughter when she was like a year old and having all these beautiful women like look up at me and like melt.
Oh.
Yeah, but they were really looking at her, but who was just 6 inches higher than my. Oh, that's a win. That is a win right there. Okay, now.
Splash said she was checking you out because she saw you filming children.
That's very possible. I filmed a lot of children today. I got to be honest with you, man.
And Tommy in New Hampshire says he's reporting you to the FBI.
Yeah. No, I did also film my own children. But if you had kids in Bradford today, feel free to send me a note.
You can send over some footage.
Some fantastic footage.
We did promise the people an announcement as well.
Okay. Alice, my days of underemployment, of being passed over by the man, corporate America. Those days, ever since George Soros ended my radio career, and I think there should be some more emphasis put on that, by the way, that Soros took over. I got a good ratings book. We got a ratings bonus, and I was whacked at the end of the next book. There's something interesting about that. So,
yeah, the ratings bonus was a mistake that they rectified quickly. You weren't gonna get away with getting paid a lot of those.
No, and when I went into WTIC, one of the things I was happy about was that I went in with NPR trouncing me and left with us trouncing NPR. To me, that's like all I need because they have FM stations too, and we were on an AM station. Anyway, that's fine. You'll probably hear me filling in on the Grace Curley show and maybe some Howie. We'll see in the future. We have I've been talking to those folks and they've been great. So, which I also look forward to. Okay, but so the big news is this, Alice. As of Monday, I am gainfully employed.
I'm excited.
Thank you. I will be the managing editor of the Maine Wire in Maine, United States of America, world, and I am thrilled about it. If you've been watching what the Maine Wire is doing, they're just exploding with all sorts of. Oh man!
You want Somali fraud? They have got Somali fraud.
They've got Somali fraud. They've got Chinese fraud. They've got. I mean, the need for us to be armed is become more desperately suitable than ever, and. The stuff that they are working on, I've been talking to Steve Robinson, obviously, we've been talking for years, but I've been talking to him about some of the things they're working on. It is amazing what they're working on. They are in pitch battle. You've seen all the stuff that Featherston is writing. They've got a bunch of great reporters, but John is really on the ground, and he's fearless and knocking on doors, and there's so much happening, and I am joining in. It's obviously the managing editor is essentially director of daily operations. Steve is too busy to do everything. He's doing his own feet on the ground reporting, and he's on a media tour. I mean, everybody wants a piece of the guy now. And so that's what my job is. But really, my job is going to be, what was that movie we saw, Alice, with Michael Caine, and they were fighting off the Zulu people? Zulu. Essentially, I'm a reinforcement in that fight. And I don't mean because we're fighting a foe who's African and black. That's not the point. The point is that this little camp, they're almost under siege, and they just need more soldiers. And I'm going to be a soldier, so I won't be doing on the ground reporting. I'll be doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll be doing a lot of writing, which I haven't done in a few years, and editorial opinion stuff, and editorial page editor kind of things. Getting opinion pieces, this and that. If you guys, I would say submission wise, send them in if you'd like to. And they are in such incredible pitch battle, and I cannot wait because, and I think I'll write about this for Monday. Because if you think that the national corporate media is going to be sated by just ripping apart this 23-year-old kid in Minnesota, no. They're going to want to go to war with the Maine Wire as well, and I very much look forward to it because I think that our team is...
They're the best media organization in New England, truly, at this point.
I think our team is far superior. I think we've all been doing this for quite a while. All of us have had to be in doing media. Steve, me, Featherston, Seamus who's there, Libby, you guys will know these names as we go along. We've all been doing media in blue states with zero help from the ensconced progressive bureaucracies whatsoever. We're all used to people calling us the worst things in the world and the threatening and all this stuff. And so I look forward to engaging with national media because this national media, they are so exposed. And now you've got all these other guys like John Harwood saying, this just shows that Barry Weiss isn't ready for prime time, that she used kid gloves on this 23-year-old Nick Shirley. And they keep saying, see, we've debunked it. And they haven't debunked him. They haven't. All they've done is say, in some sense, sorry, what they've done is confirm that, that wasn't 99% true. It was just 79% true.
Right.
And the media is acting like CBS and these other organizations are acting like, you see, yeah, fine. There's all sorts of abuse. There's all sorts of violations. 1/6 of them sure, have no licenses. They don't seem to be open. There are hardly any students at all, but we can't say there's fraud. And the hair splitting is remarkable.
Well, yeah, and kind of like I said the other day, and I mean, the All In podcast was saying this too. They had on Nick Shirley. They're fantastic. If you don't listen to the All In podcast, it's one that I really like, and especially because I find that it crosses into both my universes a bit. They talk a lot about AI, about tech, about startups, as well as, news stuff that we talk about here too. But it's, they had on Nick Shirley and they talked to him. And I think that the problem is that even if it's not technically fraud, or not all of it is technically fraud, it looks so bad. And if you don't see what looks bad about it, then you are so out of touch with the American people. And I think he said this in the clip, at least in one of the clips that I think I sent us. Is it David Sachs?
Yeah, it is Sachs.
Who I sent us. And basically saying whether or not it's legally fraud is not the problem here. The problem is that they've been handing out all this cash to everybody. At the same time, when they're trying to make a grab, their party, Mamdani and Gavin Newsom and Ro Khanna and all these people are trying to make a grab for more of your money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so he talks about this, maybe there's some stuff here that qualifies as fraud and maybe there's not. But this thing where like Stacey Abrams gets $2 billion at the close of the Obama administration, that's like as bad to people. And it's not technically fraud. You know, she's technically...
No, but it is absolutely a grift.
Yeah, but this is the problem, is like how much of our government is fraud and grift in whatever format.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we saw, the violent reaction to Doge. And it was an indicator, obviously, that this stuff is happening. Here's Sachs.
Sachs, a year from now, what will happen in relation to what we've seen in Minnesota?
Well, I hope that there will be a serious investigation. I hope that there will be indictments. I hope there will be deportations, hopefully massive amounts of deportations. And I hope there'll be impeachments of some of these officials who let the fraud happen.
Ooh,
so
love it.
The country is being eaten alive, it feels like, by fraud. Government funds are being stolen. Votes are being stolen. I believe elections are being stolen. And it all comes from the fact that the party of government doesn't really care where the money goes. It's all just patronage to them, whether it's to Somali daycares or whether it's to this high-speed rail line that doesn't have one piece of track laid. I mean, how much has California wasted on that?
Yeah.
Or $24 billion to the homelessness, only to see the homeless population increase. Look, these politicians don't care how the money is spent at all. All they care about is rewarding their supporters. That's the whole game. And then those supporters round trip a portion of the ill-gotten gains they've gotten from the government back to those politicians. That's the whole game. And then when the whole thing blows up because it's just so corrupt and inefficient and so absurd, what do? They try to find productive people to scapegoat. And they say that billionaires are your problem. They'll blame billionaires for that, or they'll blame the tech community. Look, the startup community or the tech community is one of the, I'd say, last extremely well-functioning parts of American society. But they don't control it yet. And so that's what the politicians will do, is they will try to find scapegoats to expand their control and expand the size and scope of the corrupt system that they're running.
And that's why there's no... They don't worry about a downside. In Massachusetts, blowing all this money and running out of money and putting up illegals, they don't worry about a downside. Massachusetts now running around patting itself in the back for giving away community college for free, which is, there's no such thing as community college for free. This is going to result in the tuitions at community colleges going up. I like community colleges. I like them more than the university system. But any giveaway is going to need a robust distributive body that is an NGO or a one of these associations where all the rainmaking happens.
Well, right, and he's right when he says to them they don't care where the money goes. And I saw actually an argument about exactly this comment on Twitter, because there's this number that people are using, 72 billion in fraud in California. And one of the things they're including in that is that high-speed rail project where it's 17 billion has gone to connect 0 cities together with high-speed rail. like it's not, I'm not kidding. There's no high-speed rail. They've laid some track somewhere between 2 cities that nobody travels between, but nothing's like cooked up. It's terrible. But I saw people on Twitter arguing about it and saying, and I do like to see what liberals say about these things because I want to know what they actually think and how they feel about it. And they're saying that's not fraud, though. Like the Stacey Abrams grift money wasn't fraud. They're going, that's not fraud. That went into good union jobs, laying track. Even if the whole project didn't come to fruition the way it was supposed to, it's not fraud. That's good union jobs. Who would be against that? And I saw people arguing about the daycare centers because people are saying this is still outrageous, even if they can find some that have kids in them.
Yes.
Like, it's still outrageous. And people going, why is that outrageous? Why would it be outrageous that we would fund childcare for people?
Well,
right.
Right.
Because we're importing, for some reason, millions of people just to pay them to watch their own children. Like, that's when Americans can't afford healthcare. Like, there's been temporary protected status from Somalia for 30 plus years in this country now. Temporary. Or not temporary. Like,
yes.
The whole thing is just insane. The slush fund of the American taxpayer has to stop. Or it's not going to matter. Like, you can have policy debates all day. You're going to end up with friggin' Groyper President Nick Fuentes or something.
Well, yeah.
If you don't stop raiding people's wallets to pay for the entire third world to freaking walk around in $2,000 glasses and tell us that it's their right to take our money. It's insane. It's truly, truly nuts.
Well, right. And it is happening in New York. If you saw any of the Mamdani thing today, all the telltale signs are there. This is what they're going to do. And yes, there will be some millionaires who move out of New York. And there will be a degradation that happens to New York in every aspect of where the civic authority should be protecting them, but they don't care. Mm-hmm. The money's going to get out the door, and that's all that matters. And they're going to have these grocery stores and social grocery stores, and they're going to take a loss every quarter, and there's going to be rampant theft, and they don't care. They're going to consider that a win.
Yeah.
And
there's already, Chamath said he personally knows people whose wealth represents $500 billion in wealth between people that he knows that have moved out of California, like changed their technical residence out of California. Now, a bunch of people have snuck it in under the wire because you have to like have a place somewhere else, whatever. I don't know how the rules work there, but there's like something where this is going to go into effect at the start of the year if it goes into effect. So it's like a ballot initiative that's been proposed, but it's going to pass because the state is full of psychos.
Right. And Mamdani, by the way, had a full-on communist inauguration today.
Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously.
Yeah.
We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try. To those who insist that the era of big government is over, hear me when I say this. No longer will City Hall hesitate to use its power to improve New Yorkers' lives. For too long, we have turned to the private sector for greatness while accepting mediocrity from those who serve the public. I cannot blame anyone who has come to question the role of government, whose faith in democracy has been eroded by decades of apathy. We will restore that trust by walking a different path.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. There's another great line he has where he essentially just undoes the Reagan mantra. Let me find it. Here we go.
Long these communities have existed as distinct from one another. We will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Oh.
If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers.
So is it that 34-year-old professional college-educated women don't know about Stalin, or is it that they do know and they like it? Or does he just have a nice smile?
So that's definitely part of it. I think there's a few things going on. I mean, I know the joke is like true communism has never been tried, obviously. Right. But I think that for most people I know that like espouse those kinds of ideologies, they would probably tell you that they're not thinking that type of communism. They're thinking like Nordic model.
Right.
Right. Like that all the other OECD countries have universal health care, that, you know, they also have universal, just sign you up for death if you are going to take too long to be seen, like in Canada. But, you know, I think that they think that would be a better model. I think that there's a lot missing from that. Like those countries are really small and have been a lot less diverse. So it's a lot easier to foster like a sense of community in a country of like a few million people where everyone is kind of shares a culture and a community. You know, like I don't even know. Are those countries even as big as New York City?
I wouldn't think so.
So it's tough. It's tough to do that type of model in a country where people are coming from as many different points of view as the United States, even under perfect circumstances. The other thing is that those countries have extremely high taxes, extremely high. Not just on the wealthy, not just on billionaires. They have punishingly high taxes on the middle class, like what we would consider to be incredibly high here by U.S. standards. And the overall quality of life is lower in ways that Americans just would not accept. You know, I mean, Europe is, by American standards, astonishingly poor.
Yes.
Like, and I know that that's like controversial to say. There's a lot of great things about Europe, but, and I know that they have like free healthcare, so-called, but like, most Americans wouldn't live in like apartments that small with that few appliances. They're not hanging their laundry up to dry outside their apartment on a nice day because they don't own a dryer.
And they're also wanting, and most Americans want or use air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, but there's any number of things that are like that in Europe where like the quality of life is just not something. The cars, the size and access to cars, how much gas costs, like all of that stuff, it just would not fly for most Americans. So you can say that we would want that. I mean, even healthcare, take healthcare. Yes, our healthcare is insanely expensive compared to those European countries. We also, the biggest reason it's insanely expensive is we consume way more healthcare. Way more healthcare. We have way more freedom of choice when it comes to seeing additional specialists, when it comes to getting procedures that we want.
Second, okay?
Like we don't have to wait as long.
1 second.
Yeah.
They do know and they like it. Or does he just have a nice smile?
So that's definitely part of it.
Okay, I'm gonna need your audio again tonight.
Okay.
Just didn't.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's because stuff moves around and
I'm sorry.
Max gets salty at that.
You know, Mark says the roads are too narrow in Europe. Yeah, for like American type cars. But Americans we have the money and that's what we choose to use it on. Compared to Europe. So like we have revealed preferences about what we want, and the way that most Americans want to live is not the way that Europeans live.
Right.
Like we have freedom of choice to do that. Most Americans could move to Europe if they chose to do so. We actually recently heard about someone who's moving to Europe.
That's right.
To escape the reign of Trump. But yeah, like I generally speaking, I think when people think Mamdani socialism, they're thinking that type of socialism. That like Western European, very high taxes.
He lives in a state, and the state's got a legislature, so he can't do everything that he wants to do.
Oh no,
he can certainly try. He can use city regulatory measures to strangle off and rearrange agencies. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, the freeze the rent stuff, like obviously the taxing the rich stuff is bad because they're gonna just all leave. The freezing the rent stuff is bad. Rent control is toxic to to housing supply, among other things, because a lot of housing just gets taken off the market because when it gets old and worn down, like it's not worth enough for people to fix it up because they can't charge higher rent for it. You know, so a lot of the housing supply just ends up like totally taken off the market. The freeze the rent stuff is bad. They're going to try and, you know, regulate out a bunch of stuff that is positive in New York. The guy that he just hired to do the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection is quoted as saying, "Gone are the days when companies like Instacart and DoorDash can bully their way into record profits on the backs of workers and consumers."
Amazing.
So the idea that people are freely taking Instacart and DoorDash jobs and consumers are freely paying for them, like the city of New York is going to be like, no. there's too much happiness happening here. They're not allowed to make a profit on that. So they're going to try, and the crime stuff is going to be bad. Obviously, he's like pro-crime, basically. At this point.
Another problem is that he's just a spoiled rich kid who's never done anything. So that's not great. He has no real world experience of having to do anything that's tough. He's just a spoiled kid whose parents are in the elite. And so, like, there's no like, he doesn't know anything. It's almost as if having a child in there.
Well, yeah, it makes me think of, it's funny, last night I was looking because the Stranger Things finale was on, and it was really dumb as expected. But anyway, I was like Googling some of the actors and stuff. And one of them who plays the sort of like cop dad guy who's like Millie Bobby Brown's dad on it. He is like a socialist. And I was like, I mean, this is like an adult man. He's probably like your age or maybe even a little older. But it was funny because then he's quoting, he's like, well, obviously, like, that's the values we're all raised with starting in kindergarten. Like, we share. And I'm like, okay, but like, we're not kindergartners anymore. Like, we live out here in the real world. You can think that in kindergarten because you had grown-ups around you who were controlling your experience of the world and who didn't let you be around thugs and criminals and other people with whom you share a society that aren't capable of being a part of that.
Well, yeah.
You were protected from reality by adults around you.
Well, absolutely. And you were cordoned off, and you were limited, and you were segmented, and you were controlled totally because they had to herd cats all day in kindergarten. Now, later on, when the herding cats gets bad, like under Stalin, there's a different way that they
control that. Right.
Exactly. It's just it's I don't know.
But it just astonishes me that adults can hold those worldviews that think that, like, oh, well, the kindergarten teacher said to share, so, like, but there's apparently full-on grown-ups walking around that believe stuff like that. So,
all right, I don't know where we are in the show, Alice, because I stopped recording.
I have about 32 minutes of show so far.
So it's good. Okay, so I'm going to get to this thing then, with the new CBS anchor, and we've seen this guy before. He was in the morning show. He's always been kind of solid, I think. Tony Dokoupil. I can't say his name. Tony Dokoupil. Anyway, we've talked about him before. He's the guy who hurt.
Dokoupil, is that? Whatever.
He hurt what's his name's feeling, the Globe guy's feelings. Mm-hmm. Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's a Globe guy.
Yeah.
Right? Was he a Globe guy?
No. Well. Okay. Whatever.
No. He's not. He's a Times guy. I don't know. He's an author. All I can tell you is this: Ta-Nehisi Coates. He wrote this thing about like he's a race hustling guy. Of course, he hates Israel, and he wrote something about anti-racism. And when I walked into Channel 2, like 10 years ago when they tried a new national show and for some reason picked me, I remember one of the producers coming out and saying, did you read the new Ta-Nehisi? And I had no idea what she was talking about. The new Ta-Nehisi? But to her, it was like, I mean, everybody around, we were reading the new Ta-Nehisi, right? Oh, Jesus. Anyway, I found Ta-Nehisi since, and I'm not impressed. But here's Tony Dokoupil for CBS News. Starting the newscast this way.
A lot has changed since the first person sat in this chair. But for me, the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to. And it's not just us. It's all of legacy media. And I get it. I get it because I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years as I've traveled America on this assignment or that. My mom's neighbors in West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City. Thousands and thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes people want to talk to me about our coverage of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's all about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. And I know this because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So here's my promise to you, today and every time you see me in this chair. You come first, not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you, which means I tell you what I know, when I know it, and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. It also means I'm going to talk to everybody and hold everyone in public life to the very same standard. After all, I became a journalist to talk to people. I love talking to people about what works in this country, what doesn't, and not only what should change, but the good ideas that should never change. I think telling the truth is one of them. I'm Tony Dokoupil, the anchor of the CBS Evening News. Hold me to it.
Like I said, Tony Dokoupil. And so I think it's great that he did this. He's being attacked, of course, by all the old legacy guys, John Harwood, all the guys saying, wow, Barry Weiss really has this guy like in her pocket. And because they always thought that they never questioned how good they were.
Right.
We're the right kind of people. We live in Alexandria, Virginia.
Admitting that the press has at any point got anything wrong is not a non-starter in that group of people.
And that the time we got it wrong when Biden, you know what, he actually wasn't healthy. You know what? That one time demands us all write novels about it. The time we got it wrong. How Joe Biden tricked us. The one time. Just, it's absolutely, it's wonderful. I don't know what'll happen to CBS. I love that these people are being purged. I wasn't talking to at all, actually, but a friend of mine has been tweeting recently. He's a very anti-Trump guy. He's a great guy. And he's been tweeting defending like Trump policies. And I was very surprised. And he doesn't say anything nice about Trump. But he talks about unemployment rate and the economy and stock market and other things. And I messaged him yesterday and I said, wow, what is all this? This is MAGA stuff from you. And he said, I'll tell you what he said, as a matter of fact, without using his name. He said, he still sucks. I don't like being stole from. Happy New Year, Tom. And fundamentally, he's just saying what we're talking about with the Somali stuff and all the other money going out the door.
Right.
Let me have my stuff so that I can take care of my own and make sure that my family and my life and the people I love and my little town can be prosperous. You leave us alone, you freaking heathens.
Right.
And that's really all it takes.
Stop taking my money for you and your buddies to get rich from. Well, you wear clothes I can't afford and go to parties that I can't afford to go to and drive cars that I can't afford and live in houses that I can't afford in the richest zip codes in America down by DC and wherever else. And then that's where you're going to have a revolution, honestly. Is if they can't follow that one directive from the American people. Because even when you think about it, even though our dear friends on the left are wrong about it, about the socialism thing and the Mamdani thing, the impulse that elects a Mamdani is the same impulse as the people who don't like being stole from. It's a sense that there are
fairness.
People, fairness, that there are people out there who are getting ahead that don't deserve it, and they're somehow doing it at my expense.
Right.
And the exact target of who that is can vary a little bit, But the idea that, you know, you're being prevented from getting ahead, and in general, like, I'm not for that sort of grievance politics, because I think for most people, myself included, the biggest blocker for me not getting ahead in my life, the person who's the most in my way, generally speaking, is me.
So you're looking at me.
No, I'm not looking at you. I
Right.
think that that's true of most people.
Yes.
And that it doesn't do most people a lot of good to sit around thinking that somebody else is like richer than them and got there
Well, right.
by somehow taking something from me.
Well, right. In that you're having been aggrieved means that you have all license to do anything you want, and there's now nobility in you living a mediocre life, an uninspired life, and it's toxic. It's terrible. It's totally un-American, and it's destroyed generations of Americans to think this way. It's just awful.
Right. But there comes a point when you see the looting happening in front of you day after day after day, where, like, regardless of the fact that you can still get ahead in America, and I do think that America is one of the places in the world that is, you're still the absolute most blessed to be born here or to be here, to wake up here every day of anywhere on the earth in terms of, like, your ability to make it in the world. But it does start to make you feel ill when you just watch people looting
Yes.
and, like, living the high life. Remember, Obama's aunt was living in public housing and had the
Zaituni.
friggin' designer sunglasses in her
Right.
big press coverage.
By the way, and let's give, like, credit to, like, I think WBZ Channel 4 actually, like, did report on this. Like, I think the local TV actually did report on this. Or maybe it was Fox 25, but they did. And she's like, you owe me. It's, okay.
Well, but now, like, a bunch of the left has decided that that's, like, a completely legitimate
we do owe her.
point of view.
Yes. Yes.
So, but yeah, like, it is this, like, populist wave is reacting to the same the same feeling that elected Trump is the same feeling that elected Mamdani. It's like somebody's getting away with somebody, and I need someone in there who's going to stick up for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And, like, loot them back a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that people who read the Mamdani thing to mean that America is embracing socialism, I think they're reading the room a little bit wrong. I think that the politicians read it that way. Mm-hmm. But I think that the idea that he got elected in order to hand out cash to, you know, more of these type of organizations and boondoggles and fraud and abuse and all of this stuff, like, I think that's severely misplaced. I think that if they take the embrace of Mamdani by New York City to mean that Americans don't care about what's happening right now in Minnesota and frankly probably in a lot of other places around the country, I think that would be a very bad mistake by them.
Well, but they're all in now, and the old generation is into self-preservation. Here's Chuck Schumer just recently.
The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
However many.
Yeah, however many are here. And by the way, like, a big part of the case for immigrants supposedly is supposed to be that immigrants do pay taxes, that they're a net plus, and that they're and that they don't qualify for social programs, and that they prop up the programs like Social Security and Medicare that have a severe math problem with longer lifespans and fewer people having children. Like, oh, look, the immigrants are having children, so they'll pay taxes and that will prop up Social Security 20 years from now. Well, that doesn't work if you import an entire group of people who are 90% living completely on taxpayer largesse.
Of course.
So that's a big issue too, is that, like, the welcoming immigrants math doesn't work if the people that you import are incentivized to just loot social programs.
Of course. By the way, it just on one note, we are dangerously close, unfortunately. Scott Adams is not doing well.
I know.
Looks like he may, according to him, he's kind of on his last legs. And all you hear is bad news on Victor David Hansen,
Yeah.
which is that's just a shame.
Super sad.
Super sad. Yeah, man. I've tried to get him on recently. We talked to him, Hillary Chabot, and I talked to him like 9 years ago or so. And he was great to talk to. His dog was barking in the background, and Hillary brought up the dog, and he was happy to talk about the dog. And anyway, he's a brilliant guy, and I'd hate to lose him. I'd hate to lose either of those guys, but man, Victor Davis Hansen, what a mind! It's like in the current, echelon of great conservative thinkers. It's him, Thomas Sowell, and a few more here. But man, that sucks. But you know what? New beginnings, guys. We're gonna turn everything around, and I will be. I'm joining in the fight. I need to lose weight, Alice, by the way. I'm fat, and I don't think
There's no better time to start than
there's
now.
a Maine Wire weigh-in. I've been told.
Really?
Alice. This is no bueno for Big T.
I heard Steve's very fit.
He is fit. Calm down. Control yourself for 5 seconds. He's not your Augustus Liminuna Sexus or whatever that.
Clavicular.
Yeah.
He's unbanned from Kick. You'll be pleased to know.
Twisted weirdo. Okay, we have one chat message.
Okay.
Awfully skinny chat message out there. This is the naming convention is Legitimate Business.
Hi, I'm calling from CNN. Is this the Chittle Leering sitter? Oh, okay, great. Just call. Thanks for picking up the phone. I've called about a dozen places, and they all seem to ring the governor's office, except for yours. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Are you folks a legitimate business? Oh, you are? Great. Okay, great. I'm just checking. Just wanted to make sure. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Just checking because a YouTuber, a MAGA YouTuber, is saying that you're not. So just so we know.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Thanks for the message. Thanks for leaving chat messages all of 2025, guys, and joining us in the chat. If you want to join us in the chat regularly, it was open to all today. But of course, it's there every day if you want to join at patreon.com/burnbarrel. There's also all the podcasts there ad-free. There's some extra content each week. And if you like listening for free, burnbarrelpodcast.com.
C'est la vie.